Каждый вторник в 12:10 один из самых известных раввинов нашего времени, Маниса Фридман, в прямом эфире отвечает на вопросы наших слушателей. Вы услышите мнение самой мудрой книги человечества – Библии, о самых сложных проблемах, стоящих перед современным миром. Присылайте ваши вопросы заранее на наш имейл info@rosa.fm или во время передачи по СМС 347 460 08 77.
Добрый день всем, кто сейчас настроен на радио USA. Сегодня вторник, а по вторникам у нас в эфире самая классная передача, которую только можно придумать. Thank God it's Tuesday. Каждый вторник мы говорим спасибо, слава Богу, вторник. Слава Богу, вторник. И потому что в это время мы можем пообщаться с самым именитым, самым добрым, самым мудрым раввином нашего времени, который просто делает необыкновенные вещи для нас в это непредсказуемое и довольно странное время, в котором мы живем. И о чем хотелось бы сегодня поговорить с ним, это о том, что у нас есть такая заповедь. Выпадает она на 8 номер из 10 заповедей. Называется «Не укради». И, по-моему, мы совсем не понимаем, что именно это значит, исходя из того, что мы, особенно последнее время, узнаем, что происходит в этом мире. Вот поэтому именно с этим вопросом мы сегодня обращаемся к раввину Манису Фридману и узнаем, как вообще к этой заповеди относиться, что она значит и как она была вообще изначально предназначена для нас, и в какой стадии, но я думаю, на этот вопрос каждый может ответить сам, в какой стадии мы находимся по отношению к этой заповеди в наше время. Hello, Rabbi Manis Friedman. Hello, thank God it's Tuesday. So grateful for this time that you allocate for us. And the question we have today is, due to so many revelations that we've been getting, most of them have been about the dishonesty, and especially the monetary dishonesty, the theft that we are witnessing that has been taking place for a very long time. And just 2 weeks ago, we learned in the Torah portion, we received the 10 Commandments, and we learned that number 8 says, do not steal. Thou shalt not steal, to be exact. And I think we completely don't know what that means based on all the current events. So the question to you today is, what does this commandment really mean? And do we see anybody following and abiding by it in our lifetime?
Well, first of all, not stealing is one of the 7 Noahide commandments before the 10 commandments. In other words, it's a universal law, unlike the 10 commandments that are directed and addressed to the Jewish people. Right? The beginning of the 10 commandments is, I am God, your God, who took you out of Egypt. Obviously, it's talking about the Jewish people. It's not talking to the Egyptians. But in the 7 Noahide laws that were first given to Adam and then to Noach, there's a commandment not to steal, which is referring primarily to stealing people, kidnapping, hostage taking. And it's a capital crime. It's punishable by death. Like murder, like adultery, like idolatry. So kidnapping is stealing. That's the worst form of stealing. If you're not allowed to steal my possessions that I did not always possess, I acquired it, then stealing what I always had, which is basically me, is the worst form of stealing. Another interesting form of stealing is called genevas das. You steal my awareness. You mislead me. You give me false information. It's called stealing. Because if I'm on the healthy path, if I'm on the right path, and you misinform me, you deprive me of my path, my innocence, my purpose, my direction. So stealing is a very big issue. It's not just the blatant, obvious form of stealing. Stealing somebody's sleep is considered stealing. You don't let them sleep when they need to sleep. So if you're talking about the hostages, there are so many violations of that one commandment. You stole their goods. You took whatever they had, you took from them. You took them. You kidnapped them. You deprived them of sleep. You deprived them of food. You misled them with false information. Like you're going home to your family. Well, they know that the family has been murdered. So the violations just keep piling on.
Rabbi Friedman, what about the obvious that we're seeing right now? How does this law apply to the government, to official representatives that are supposed to basically just manage us? We pay taxes, and they're supposed to manage the world with our contribution to the country we live in. And what we're seeing lately is that our contributions have been, I don't want to even say stolen, mismanaged, but very little benefit for those who count on this. How does this law apply in the relationship between the people and the government?
There is some confusion about what is the extent of government's authority. It is absolutely fascinating listening to the conversations going back to Israel. The first commentary on the first words of the Torah says the following: the reason the Torah begins with the story of Adam and Eve, and then Noah, and then Avraham and Yitzchak, the whole historical picture, the reason it begins with that instead of beginning with commandments, which is the main purpose of the Torah, surprisingly, the entire book of Genesis, the entire book of Bereshis, is all about people and history. Very few commandments. So the reason is because when the nations, this is literally written 800 years ago, when the nations will accuse the Jews of stealing their land, our answer to them should be, the whole world belongs to God. God gives the land to whomever he chooses. So he chose to give the land to the Canaanites, but then he took it from them and gave it to us. So the entire first book of the Torah is the answer to the accusation that we stole the land. What an amazing statement. The entire book was written just that we should know what to say when someone will accuse us of stealing our land. Is it really that important? Well, now we see. Yes, it's that important. It's a matter of peace or war, life and death. And because we're not giving the right answer, this war drags and people get killed, and it's a horrible tragedy. So let's try to understand this a little bit. The nations of the world will say that we stole the land from the Canaanites. There isn't a single country in the world today, and there was not a single country in the world back then that hadn't already changed hands. That some country, in fact, the Canaanites actually took the land. It wasn't theirs. They took the land from the Semites, the children of Shem. And nobody complains about that. And even the Torah doesn't say conquering a land is a sin. It mentions who conquered lands from whom. It doesn't say it was a bad thing. In other words, stealing does not apply to countries. That is not considered stealing. Conquering a land is not theft anywhere in the world. And yet, the nations will accuse Jews of stealing the land, and the Torah has to give us an entire book of history to let us know how to answer that accusation, when it's such a frivolous accusation. You can't steal land. So, it could have been written yesterday. There's only one possibility that could make the accusation somewhat legitimate. Not correct, but at least legitimate. And that is, if this land was inherited as an inheritance, well, you can steal someone's inheritance. Then it's not occupying a land like every other land. So now, maybe stealing can apply. So we really need to know what is the right answer. And I just saw a clip where a Muslim scholar makes it very clear that Israel belongs to the Jewish people because it was given to them by God under Moses and under Joshua. So they're merely coming home to their land, and that is their most legitimate claim of ownership. And when Israelis talk about archaeological evidence, fine. It's not going to convince anyone in this region, he says. If you want to make an argument for this region where people will respect your argument, say it is yours according to the Bible, according to God's word. Then you are welcome. So,
Rabbi Fridman, it's very, very interesting that we need to defend ourselves on something that is obvious, written from the very beginning of times. Yet going to the supermarket today, you doubt if you're being ripped off for the produce that you're buying. And if you walk maybe 2 blocks down, you'll get the same produce for less money. So now we are in a position where it seems like we're in a world of nothing but theft and trickery of some sort. I mean, realistically, I don't know any person who does anything today, anything, including going to an office, buying groceries, ordering something online, doing business, where they don't have a doubt that they're being taken advantage of somewhere, somehow. How did that become the norm? And is there a chance of ever coming out of this state of being?
Well, the essence of Torah is truth. There's a terrible lack of truth. It's not that people lie. It's that truth is completely neglected. It's like you don't have to tell the truth. You don't have to be honest. It's unnecessary. So when people lie, they don't even feel guilty. Truth is gone off the agenda. Truth in advertisement, truth in products. People used to be very proud of their products, and so they made the best product possible. Today, you make the cheapest copy and make it look good, paint it up nicely, and it's garbage. And they're not ashamed of that. That's the problem. The truth has been so devalued that there's no reason to even try to be honest. So we have left groups like the Amish. They are very proud of every product they make because it's legitimate, it's sincere, it's the best they can do. You know this thing that the Amish went to North Carolina to build houses for those people who lost their houses and the government is taking forever? They went in, and in a week, they built 40 houses.
Wow.
And no shtick, no shortcuts, just legitimate human talent and effort. I think Trump should put them in charge of housing. All construction.
I bought a living room table, dining room table from the Amish. And I have to say, it even feels warm. It has a certain energy. It's got some warmth to it. Not fancy or anything, but just like real.
I say in case of a nuclear attack or in case of a hurricane or in case of an earthquake, hide under the table. Which table? Which table is going to offer you any protection whatsoever? Only their tables. Some protection. Anyway, so here's the thing. That the Torah goes to such lengths to tell you what to say when people accuse you frivolously and falsely. It tells us something amazing. If they come up with an accusation that has no basis, do we really need to tell them the truth? Why don't we come up with a make-believe, invented excuse? Because their accusation is an invention. Why would Torah devote an entire book to tell us exactly how we started and who our ancestors are and what is our line in the human history? That we are descendants of Abraham through his son Yitzchak and his grandson Yaakov, and we became 12 tribes, and we were in Egypt, and we need to know all of that just so that we can say, we are the people to whom God gave the land. Make up some half-baked theory. Why do we need to answer a lie with a truth? Why don't we just outlie them? Tell them a better lie. That's what we've been trying to do for 70 years. That's what politics in America is all about. No one cares who's telling the truth. It's who's telling a better lie. Because we live in a world of lies, so just lie better. We live in a world of crime, so be a better criminal. If you live in the Wild West, just be a better shooter. Torah says, no, we don't stoop to that. We don't stoop to that. Israel says, we are a democracy. Well, maybe we are, maybe we're not. We don't know what democracy means anymore. A democracy for Jews. Is that a democracy? I don't know. But we're using it as our answer. You say, it's not a very convincing answer. Well, it's not a very convincing accusation. You accuse me with a stupid accusation, I give you a stupid answer. Torah says no. When in Rome, do not do like the Romans do. If they lie, you tell them the truth. That's the Jewish way. So in all things, whether it's America or Europe or Israel, one of the things because we represent the Torah, one of the things we have to protect is the truth. The respect for truth, the desire for truth, the loyalty to truth. There's none of that. Is that the ultimate showdown? That probably is. If we can get back to truth, then we've gotten back to everything. Because if it's true, then it's also good, and it's also healthy, and it's also right, and it's also purposeful. If it's the truth, it's everything. So instead of trying to patch up each individual thing, let's just go back to truth. I think Trump is pretty much saying that. And his detractors are saying, since when is truth a good method? How is truth going to get you anywhere? You're going to accuse the liars and punish them for their lies with a better lie? If you don't think that truth can change the world, then you've given up on the world. So simple truths, not brilliant genius ideas, just simple truths. Stop fighting. Stop fighting.
Rabbi Fridman, when I was preparing for this program and, thinking about, how would right now Torah resolve this whole big bag of lies and thievery that we're living. And honestly, I got lost because I'm thinking, okay, there's a problem between authority and people and people, small business and clients, big business and market, big pharma, people, stock market, all people, gambling, immoral industries, intellectual theft, time, as you said, there's not an area in the world right now where there is no issue of violation of the 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal. Not a single area. It seems to be like one big blob, and pretty much this is something that caused the flood initially. So are we at the... I know there's not going to be another flood because God promised so, but still, are we at the precipice at something like tremendous to happen? Because honestly, how do we unwind this terrible mess that we have created? A mess of lies and falseness and thievery, and it's everywhere, and everyone is suspicious of everyone, including family members. How do we undo this?
Yeah. So we could do it piecemeal. Attack every lie. It'll take forever because there are so many. It's not even lies, like disinformation or simply mount a project or a movement, return to truth. Just tell the truth. Why is that hard? Why is that even complicated? Just tell the truth. And it's so much simpler than lying. So the coming of Mashiach, to a very large degree, is the return to truth. We should stop being shocked by every lie. Oh my God, he lied. Okay. We know. It's all a lie. In fact, the sages refer to this entire universe as Alma de Shikra. It's a false world. It's false. Everything is false. The default position is false. And that's bad news. Before you do anything, it's already false. Like, for example, a child is born thinking that he is the entire universe, the center of the universe. That is the experience of a newborn child, and it's already a lie. You're not the center of even your family. Your mother is. So why are you lying? So, the absence of truth is the culprit here. When truth is absent, so you're shocked that Madison Avenue and advertisements lie, there's no truth, so you're left with lies. So instead of fighting the lies, let's champion the truth. I know parents who say to their children, who get themselves, did something destructive, and the parents say, just tell the truth and we'll be fine. I'm not even going to punish you for, just tell the truth. Don't say you didn't do it. Don't say you never heard of it. Don't say you weren't here. Just tell the truth. It's much better than punishing someone for a lie. Not that they shouldn't be punished. But you accomplish much more by returning to truth. So, every sin can in some way, with a little stretch of the imagination, every sin can be considered stealing. You eat non-kosher. Stealing. God said, you may eat my cows, you may not eat my pigs. If you eat pig, you're stealing. Because the owner never gave you permission to eat the pig, if you're Jewish. Almost every commandment can very easily be included in the commandment not to steal, not to lie. Stealing is lying. Not true is immoral. Which immoral? Long list. Not true means you're committing adultery. Not true means you're worshiping idols, false gods. Not true means you're stealing somebody else's donkey. So I guess you can do that with each of the 10 commandments. Every sin falls under the category of don't worship other gods. In other words, don't think you need something that I don't let you have. Isn't that amazing? God says you're not allowed to do that. You say, but I need to. Liar, you don't need to. God says you have no other God. You have no other. Don't worship anything other than what I'm giving you. Because everything else is false worship. It's idolatry. So every one of the 10 can be seen as, honor your father and mother. That means keep all the commandments because God is your father.
Rabbi Friedman, I agree that...
How do we get back to truth?
Yeah, exactly. The biggest question, because I don't know, for some reason, this number 8 just jumped at me really, really big. And I think it's pretty much doing it to the entire world, because the more revelation, the more we see that it's stealing, and it's stealing of everything, not just monetary value, but intellectual, truth, innocence, everything.
Everything. COVID is stealing, right? The whole thing. First, it steals the information, it misleads you to think that it is what it's not. Then it misleads you to think that there's a cure when it's not. Even science, the theory of evolution, it's an out-and-out lie. The average student or the average professor doesn't know because their mind has been stolen. But those who are promulgating and championing this theory, they know it's a lie. So, yeah, we're drawing the line, making it very clear. You're either telling the truth or you're a lie. You are a lie. You live a lie, not you tell a lie. Those days are gone. George Washington said, I cannot tell a lie. That was his problem. Today, what's a lie? What's a lie?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything is a lie. Reverend Friedman, but you asked the best question. I should have asked that, but you asked that question. How do we get back to the truth? That is the biggest question on the agenda.
The truth is the Torah. There's no other truth. And that's the truth. And that's where we're headed. Back to the Torah. Everybody, everywhere. Jews, non-Jews, we're going back to the Torah. Because the New Testament is not the truth. The Quran is not the truth. Shakespeare is not the truth. There's only one truth. The Torah without embellishment. Without the embellishments of Christianity, without the embellishments of Islam, without the embellishments of Buddhism. Torah is the truth. It tells us why we were created, who created us, why he created us, how he created us, how we make the world perfect. The entire truth is there. And we're going back to it. And it's so nice to be able to say, we're going back to it, not go back to it. You don't need to preach anymore. Preaching days are over. Mostly because preachers also lie. So the return to Torah has to be organic. No one can tell you. And thank God nobody needs to tell you. People are going back to the Torah on their own.
Everyone?
Free will.
Everyone?
Yes. Yeah.
The whole world?
The whole world, different people in different ways. Excuse me. But everybody is going back to it.
Even though they know nothing about it.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of ignorance. But there's a sincere attempt. Clumsy, awkward, whatever. But the pursuit today is, let me get back to the truth. And we're very cautious about it. Because among all the people who never tell the truth are religious leaders. So who are you going to learn from? So one of the prophecies about the coming of Mashiach is that man will no longer teach his brother because everyone will know me directly, God says. So we're looking forward to that, and we're seeing it happen.
Huge amen to that.
How many non-Jews call or text me that they're keeping Shabbat, they're keeping kosher, they're praying from the Tehillim, from what else should they do? I said, who asked you to keep Shabbos? Who asked you to keep kosher? Nobody. They read it. They like it. They want it.
Is that even okay?
No. You know, it's beautiful to do mitzvahs you don't have to do. That is not required. But start with the ones that are required. Yeah.
Rabbi Friedman, amazing. I hope we're getting close, very close, hopefully, because especially when you know, especially when you learn, especially when you live a life of seeking out the truth, and you see everything that is happening right now that is the opposite of that. It's really, really, really hard. You feel pretty lonely. You feel outnumbered.
Yep.
And it's kind of hard to to keep the faith. Not keep the faith. I just like saying that, keep the faith, but keeping the strength is really where it's at. To stay strong.
To stay strong in the belief that truth is more powerful than the lie, because there's only one truth, and there are trillions of lies. How can one truth combat all those lies? I think that's the expression, a little light chases away a lot of darkness. Darkness is disinformation, misinformation. Light means seeing clearly the truth. A little bit of truth can chase away and undo and destroy an avalanche of lies, which is what we're having now. Excuse me. When everything around you is false, it's intimidating. Okay, I'll tell the truth. No one will hear me. The lies are so much louder. So what good will my telling the truth? Well, if you don't believe in the power of truth, then you have given up the ship. Then you might as well just continue lying and hope for the best. That can't be. Truth is very, very powerful. And I think the best example, I just spoke to an Israeli ambassador, and she agreed. They moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and she was involved in that, by the way, so she knew the inside story. But the fact that there was no reaction, there was no bloodshed, there was no revolution, there was nothing. Why? Because you don't argue with truth. When you tell the truth, all arguments are gone. That's pretty powerful. Every guy who had an opinion about politics and about world affairs was absolutely certain that this is going to cause World War III. Why were they so wrong? Because they thought moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Yerushalayim is a political move. It wasn't. It was simply the truth. What's the capital of Israel? When you tell the truth, all the lies just disintegrate.
So you're saying that the new mantra is strength, strength and positivity, optimism, and let's just get to our goal.
And a definition of truth is that which always was and will always be. Anything less than that is not truth. Certainly not the whole truth. So any theory, any opinion, no matter how revered it has been, if it's not always and won't always be, then it is not true.
Rabbi Fridman, thank you so much. Thank you for this, for giving us the strength and the focus. So this is the most important thing, is right now, I think, is not to lose the focus of what we have to do and give us the strength to get there. So not easy, because the more things are becoming revealed, the harder it is to see the truth and not get to that end point. So I think this is where we're at right now, but with your help, we're going to get there easier. So thank you so much for everything you do.
It turns out that it's not that difficult to admit a lie. It is more difficult to identify the truth. So, for example, I can admit that I was wrong, that I fell for a lie, I was misled, whatever it is, I was wrong. But I still can't bring myself to admit that you were right. For some reason, that hurts more than admitting that I was wrong. So in Israel, for example, people are now starting to say, yeah, two-state solution, it was a lie to begin with. It was never meant to be a solution. It was never meant to be a serious consideration even. But many people were fooled. They really sincerely believe two-state solution is the perfect solution. Everyone will be happy. It's so good. It's so great. Okay. Now you realize, no, it is not a solution. It was never a solution. It's not going to be. Aha. So Kahane was right. Oh, no. wow, now you're pushing it too far. No. He was wrong. Yeah, but he said there's no two-state solution. Yeah, but it was him saying it, so it's wrong. If you admit that you were wrong, why can't you admit who was right? It's harder.
I guess we're not there yet.
So if we pursue the harder task, it's a shortcut. You have to go through every lie and every false concept you've ever gone through and admit every one of them one at a time. Too time-consuming and too depressing. So instead, let's go for the harder project, but shorter, more powerful. Who's right? Stop marveling at how false falsehood can be. They returned the body, supposedly of the mother, and it turns out it's not the mother. Shocking. Shocking. Don't be shocked. Just go for the truth.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Friedman. We're going to take this one with us to keep us going. And thank you for the strength and the focus. And thank you for everything that you do for everybody. Can people still join the course of 18 days to getting to know God? Is that still a possibility? Okay, so for that, people need to go on isgoodtoknow.org, because this is, as you see, whatever we say here, it's good to know. And that comes straight from Rabbi Friedman. Thank you. Thank you for giving us the good to know information in everything that you do on your YouTube channel, on all the social media, all your lectures, books, and everything that you have available for us. And especially, since it's personal, most grateful for this time you allocate to our community, to our radio. Thank you so much, Rabbi Friedman.
You're very welcome. I'll send you the clip of the Muslim scholar.
Please. Absolutely. That would be amazing. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much, and God willing,
Bye-bye.
till next week. Thank you. Ну, а всем, кто нас сейчас слушал, большое спасибо. Спасибо, что вы есть, спасибо, что вы держитесь и, наоборот, внимаете в себя свет и распространяете этот свет другим. Давайте продолжать делать это вместе. Учиться этому по вторникам, а практиковать это каждую секунду каждого дня. Так что с этими словами большое всем спасибо. Прощаюсь со всеми. До следующей недели.